Hello Linux lovers, my name's Wimpy, welcome to my world. Well, it's the end of an era. It's the final Ubuntu podcast episode went out yesterday, and we're having an after party tonight over on the Ubuntu Podcast YouTube channel, a live stream, and I'm going to be making the OBS set for that, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I'll just send a few messages out to my friends to let them know that this is something that I'm working on, and I'll get cracking. So let's just send the last one. Here we go. Oh, bother. What have I misspelt? Twitch. Okay. I'll do that one. Oh, I really misspelt Twitch. There we go. Let's try that. Right then. Already I'm being helped with people behind the scenes. Right then. Let's edit that. Edit. Right then. There we go. That's all fixed now at least. Good morning, Yannick. How are you? So, right, I think I've done that. I'll just say thank you
to... for the follow, Roompay.
Hey, thanks very much, Roompay. Welcome to the stream. Right then, so, how's this going to work? Well, these are the most complicated streams I do, because it's OBS inside OBS. It's super tricky. But we're going to see what we can muster here. So what I have is this. This is fine. This looks like, hello Danny, how you doing? So let's just try and get to the right one. It's this one. So here I have OBS inside OBS. And this is the configuration for the Ubuntu Podcast After Party. So I'm going to be working through this. I started late just for you, Danny. Yeah, I'm going to be working through this. I spoke with Alan and Mark last night to sort of agree what we're going to I say do. We're not going to do very much, but how we're going to present this stuff. Hello, Jeff. Thanks for the return. Good morning. How are you? Tease? Stream Elements is lying. Yeah, that bot doesn't appear in the embed, but yeah, Stream Elements is telling everyone that I still am a co-host of the Ubuntu podcast until tonight, which once the after party's done, then that's it. It's all done, isn't it? So yeah, 14 years of Ubuntu podcast coming to an end. So I suppose what I should do is ping the link to that in the chat. That would be sensible, wouldn't it? So let's go here. Let's youtube.com, isn't it? That's the place where we're going to be going. So that should be fine. And is the live stream appear here? I'm not sure if it does. How do I show upcoming streams? I know it's in there somewhere. Okay, I'll get the link elsewhere. Let's go to the Ubuntu Podcast website. Hey TC, how you doing? Right then, so I put the link in here earlier, so copy video URL, there we go. So let's just jam that in the chat. So that's where you need to be later. 8 PM UK time will be starting, so that's 9 PM European and about 3 PM Eastern in the US, I think. Right then. I'll close these YouTube links. I don't need those open. So meanwhile, back to this. So what do I need to do? Not too much, I don't think, but then I thought I'd try and have some fun. I've got some ideas. So in the Ubuntu Podcast Telegram, there's been people working on some stuff which I want to try and find a way to integrate. And then there's a couple of bits I'm going to see how far we go, but I've tried to mute the audio. So what I'm going to be doing is we've got a couple of bits here, so I can actually just hide the after party, because that was for making the thumbnail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some intro scenes, so a couple of bits that are going to get chained together as like our getting started. But although it's getting started, it's actually going to be in air quotes content. So there'll be about a 3-minute intro, which is going to be comprised of this thing called biscuits and this thing called tune. You may or may not be familiar with what those might be. And then we want an outro at the end, which will be something similar. I'm just waiting to get confirmation from Alan and Mark that my idea is what they want to go with. I'm just going to say, is Esme in this chat? I don't know. I'm just going to tell her thank you. Right, there we go. Oh, Esme, hello. Thanks very much for the letting me know that I'd misspelt Twitch. I appreciate that. So this is not going to be a short stream. I am taking my time. I'm going to be drinking some tea, having a chat, and working on this. I'm just easing myself into getting started on this. Just trying to organise my thoughts on the things I'm going to do. So I've muted these audio clips because I don't want to give away too much for those of you that would be able to join us later. Yes, I'm very well, thank you. Bit tired. It's been a long week. But I'm looking forward.
Thank you for the follow, aromatic_dev.
Thanks very much for the follow, Aromatic Dev. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a chat with Alan and Mark later. Like I say, we had a bit of a chat last night. That was nice. You're eagerly waiting. Yeah, I enjoy hanging out with those two. It's good fun. So we haven't prepared a show, so don't expect a show. It's going to be a chat with you. All, hopefully. Right then, so I've got quite a simple set of scenes at the moment, so I'll just go through with what I've got in OBS at the moment and sort of explain what I have, and I may rework some of this. So these things that start UPC, these are going to be the, in air quotes, main scenes, the things that are actually going to get streamed out. And everything beneath here is like assets that are used to compose the main scenes. Yeah, well, there we go. So down here we've got audio inputs and then stuff from what is now called Video Ninja. Not all of this is configured yet. This is literally the bare bones. And then some nested assets and things, some of which we may use. And then these cameras are compositions from other stuff. So I'll explain all of this because, like, if I go to my camera, is this correct? Yeah, okay. So this, you've no idea how complicated it is to do this, but this is something I can do. So this is how my camera will be presented in the stream later. And I've done the same with Mark and Alan, and if we have a look at Mark, you know, he's obviously not online at the moment, so we've got a little placeholder image. So we've got these, you know, tessellated edges and all the rest of it. And that means that we can do a scene that looks like this. So I'll get into like how you make these nice little sort of camera cutouts and all the rest of it. It's a subtle effect. I think it would be lost on a lot of people, but it's quite tricky to do, or at least I think it's sort of quite tricky to do. But I think the effect is pleasing. And if anyone saw the Boss Talk Live event that we did 3 months ago now, I think it was, something like that, 2 months ago, forget, 2 or 3 months ago. This set design as it stands at the moment might look familiar, and so I have initially lifted the Fostalk Live set that I put together, and I've removed everything that was not Ubuntu Voltage, which was the show that I say show, the presentation that we did, Mark, Alan, Stuart Langridge and myself as Ubuntu Voltage. So I just kept those pieces, deleted everything else, and then switched the color scheme ever so slightly from a black dark backdrop with white highlights to a light backdrop with Ubuntu orange highlights. So that's how I got to where I am, but it's quite a basic setup at the moment. So Yannick says the only way I found to do that is to have every elements in every scene and push anything I don't want to see to the sides. I'm not sure what you're describing there, Yannick. But in any case, so talking to Alan and Mark, we need this scene where there's the three of us, and I'm not sure if this is going to be how we'll present it or not. We want a scene which we can make ourselves smaller and have like a view of a desktop, and the purpose of that is so that I can have a browser and we can go places for all the smooth transitions. Oh, okay. Well, you can see what my sources look like here. So I have all nested elements. Look, these are all of the nested elements, and then these are the scenes. I think this has something in it. There we go. So this does do something at the moment. So that's just switching between the scenes, and that has the thing. And then I'm doing that with this FTL move, which was the Fostalk Live move transition that I created, that I'm keeping for this because I'd already done the sums for the easing functions and what have you. So yeah, that's how we're doing that. They're nice. I like them. Right then, so yeah, so this scene here will become one where we have like a desktop or something, so I can open a browser rather than have a fixed embed, so we can go places and do things. And then we may or may not make use of a second camera source from Alan, and we'll see what we can do. We may or may not use that tonight, and I think that's mostly it. So we need an outro, an intro, and then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some OBS stuff so that these scenes automatically chain from one to the other, so I don't have to manually control that. And then there's something that I want to have a go at, which was an idea from Stuart Langridge, which was playing a sad version of the Ubuntu podcast theme. And he had an idea about it, and then I've thought about it a bit more, and I've got an idea how it could be implemented. So if there's time, considering that we're only under 8 hours until we're going to be doing this thing, if there's time, I'll have a bash at that. But then I've also got some other prep to do, which I won't be doing here because it will be a spoiler if I do it live here. But there's some other bits I need to set up in the background as well for some other fun bits and pieces that we're going to use tonight. So a lowly piano slowly keying the theme. So somebody has prepared us a wistful version of the Ubuntu podcast theme. In fact, let's bring that in as an asset because we will need that. So let's go down here and we'll add a scene. So because this is going to be audio, we will I'll call this one Sad Tune. Okay. So I'm going to refactor some of this as I go as well. So we're going to have Sad Tune, and then I'll add another one which is audio. normal tune, because I will link these up. Normal tune. Oops. So I will add an audio source, which is actually going to be not VLC. I can't see it for looking. Media source. That's what I'm looking for. We'll just call this sad tune. And it's local, don't loop it, restart, show nothing when the playback ends, close when not in use. And then this is in sync thing, Ubuntu Podcast Music. And I did download, oh hang on, which one am I doing at the moment? Sad tune. Okay. That's in sounds. OBS sounds. Farewell MP3. Select. OK. So. Is that... So why is that not playing out? Because it's inside this. Yeah. Oh, we can. Can I hear it? I'm not sure. Anyway, that's the sad tune. So I'll just pause that. And then we'll put the normal tune in here. Another media source. It's going to be local, it's going to restart, and it's going to close when where's the thing gone there? For some reason it started putting the dialogues up behind. So this is in which was this? This was the normal tune. So this is in sync thing, Ubuntu Podcast. And this is just in music, and it just so happens that that's the right thing. Okay. And we'll... Oh, actually, that's not the one I want. Thinking about it. Let's pause that. It's actually a... I made a slight edit to it and exported it as a FLAC. So Ubuntu Podcast Music, and if I say all files, there is a FLAC. That's the one we want. Okay. And then we'll do a transform on this down to 0, 0 to hide the embedded album art. So that is the normal tune and the sad tune. So I'll move those up to my groups of audio related bits and pieces. Sad tune and normal tune. And then actually there's another piece of music that has turned up. So I'm going to add that now. We'll add another audio source, media, and we'll call this outro. We will add a media source. It's actually really difficult to do this because nothing's where my eyes are used to looking, doing stuff in OBS, and this is outro. So we don't want to loop it, and again this will be in sync thing, Ubuntu Podcast and OBS sounds, Vododia, select. Okay, and I will pause that. Okay, so that's the outro piece. Maybe I should just call this, rename this, call it what it is. Intro. And intro, outro, and then that's got a source which we'll call intro just for consistency. Right then, so there's my audio pieces. So what I'm going to do now is rework this here. So I should probably put that piece in as well. And so I'm going to create another one of these. So the reason I'm doing this is it's much easier to compose scenes from nested scenes. So what I'm going to have a top level scene, or a sort of a top level scene, not quite top level, but a scene which is for playing out audio. And I'm going to set that up. In fact, do I want to do that? I don't know that I do I? I don't need to do that because they're going to have slightly different spectralizers in them. So actually, I don't need to do that, but I will keep my audio separate for simplicity. So we'll add one more, which is going to be biscuits. So and we'll add a new audio source or a media source. There's a good chance I've used this name. Yeah, I thought so. So let's see if I can go and find that. If I got it here. There it is. Cut. Copy that. And paste a reference. There we go. That's that done. And we'll stick that up with sad tune. Effect. Like so, makes more sense. So in biscuits, I will now remove this. Yes. And I will include the scene. Audio biscuits. To achieve the same result. And then this is my spectralizer, which I will change the properties for, and my audio source is going to be biscuits. So if
someone's typing.
Sorry. There we go. Oh, that plays now. That's curious. Interesting that one played and that the other ones didn't. So there's that. So this UPC logo thing, I should probably cut that out and turn that into a reusable thing, because I want as few duplicate sources in my scenes, because it becomes a mess to manage your OBS setup. Hello Paddy, welcome, how you doing? You probably have answered this question already, but how does Alan and Mark's video get to you? Okay, I will answer that question. By using this bit of software, which is all web-based. So Video Ninja is where I'm going. And I've actually created what's called a control room, one of these for this, but you can do it on an ad hoc basis. So add your camera to OBS. I can't because my cameras are in use, but you choose your camera, your audio sources, hit start, and that gives you a URL that you can embed in OBS as a browser source. And that then is how you can, if I just bring back this. So in here I have some sources here. Ninja, Alan Cam. I don't know, I've got... Yeah, it's just got local audio in it. So in here there'll be a URL, and that is the URL that OBS or Video Ninja gives you to display that camera source. And then I'll just post in chat. I don't want to expose the whole URL because there's passwords and things in there, which is why I'm like thinking carefully about this. But I do have my notes here. So if I don't have my notes. Yeah, I do. So I do something like this. So guest pushes. Let's just think about this. So the guests just need to... So I compose these control links so it sets things up in a particular way. But then on the OBS side, you can control the resolution that's requested, the frame rate and the bit rate, for example. So I do things like this, which I add on as parameters, which I'll just put in a text doc here. So we on the right page? We are on the right page already. Okay, so let's just change that to name. So I add something like this to the URL. I can't make this bigger, unfortunately, on this. So scene tells the client to automatically tell them to select their camera. It mutes their audio by default, sets a default bit rate, and gives it a name. And then when I ingest that into OBS, I then do things like this. So I add a width. Oops. I add a width. 1280. I add a height of 720. And then tonight we're going to be doing this. We set a frame rate of 30 frames per second. And then this is what we're doing tonight. We're doing a bit rate of 4096. So normally when I've done this in the past with other streams with co-hosts, I do 940 by 560 as the resolution at 30 frames per second, and only like 1500 bit rate. But we tested this combination last night, and it means that there's higher quality video coming from Mark and Alan as a result. So something I may do with the other streams I do with friends of mine, Yannick, of whom is in the stream right now. So hopefully that answers your question, Paddy. So Video Ninja, and there's great documentation on how you can tweak and tune that. It's a very powerful bit of software. It does way more than what I've just shown you. It's very
Thank
cool.
you for the follow, Proper Copper.
Hello, Proper Copper. Thanks for the follow and welcome to the stream. Watching you make OBS setups is tempting for me to figure out a stream setup. Yeah, why not? Give it a go. It's good fun. Yeah, Yannick, good words of encouragement there, right then. So Paddy then says, oh, so that will be Alan and Mark pointing to see the... Well, I'm not quite sure I follow that comment. It was a bit broken up. Right then. I might want to stream on Twitch, but yeah, you can get started on Discord. Hey, Paul, welcome back. Yeah, I'm sorry you're going to miss the podcast. I think we're going to miss it too, but we're obviously stopping for reasons. But, you know, if you've got questions, bring your questions to the live stream tonight. We'll try and answer everything that people ask. Yeah, it's me. Yeah. Right then. Thank you for the answer, by the way. I love watching your stream. Well, thank you very much for the kind words, Paddy. Right, so where were we? We were just setting up some audio. So we've got sad tune, biscuits, and I was working on, oh, that was it, biscuits, bringing biscuits in. So then we've got, that was it. I wanted to do this logo. So we're going to pull this logo out as a nested object. So I've got one called Logo Ubuntu Podcast, which is, I'm going to rename this one because this is different. This is rename. We'll simply call this small logo. And we'll rename this to match. You can see there's some leftovers from when this was part of the Foss Talk Live setup. And then we'll create a new nested scene. And I prefix these just for my own sanity. It helps because the things with the square brackets, I've got a little control plane next to me here, which I can switch scenes with, like this, for example. So I'm doing this by pressing buttons on a tablet. But by putting the things with square brackets as the things that are included, it pushes them down alphabetically the list. So when I look at my tablet, I can only see my main scenes. So you can, switch between them. So this is Nest, and this is going to be imaginatively called Big Logo. And then we'll just move that up to go with the other things. Oop. There it is, Big Logo. And what we'll do is we'll duplicate this out and rename it. So if I go to here, we'll just copy this. And we will paste it into Big Logo. Paste it as a duplicate, and then we'll rename it. And we'll simply call that Big Logo. So now what I can do is I can do that. And I can go to these two scenes. If I just hide that with the eye for the moment, I can add a new scene here, go to my nested scene, Big Logo. There it is, and now I need to put it at the appropriate level in the scene. There we go. And I can now delete that one because I don't need it. And we'll lock out the resolutions and transforms. So what I've now got is sort of 3 bits to each of these scenes. And I think because the audio is going to be discrete, we could do that. So I could potentially make a scene called, well, I suppose I could make a scene, but I'm not going to. I think that would be scene overkill. So we can copy these 3 things. No, these 2 things. Copy. And we'll do this. So we'll keep that. We'll remove that. Remove that. Remove that. And we'll paste references to those other things. So background solid. Big Logo. And if I look at biscuits here, so we've got audio biscuits. So this is now going to be, I'm going to rename this scene to be what it is, which is the intro. And we will then embed the scene, which is our audio source, called, oops, here it is up here, isn't it? Audio intro. And we'll just bring that down there. It's interesting that I mean, I can't hear that playing out, which is curious. I'll have to worry about this later, its details. But now what we can do is we can rename these, because these are now very much going to be the intro and intro. So this is a spectralizer. And if I just change the properties on that and change the audio source to intro, what you can see, if I just hide the left one, so that is a spectralizer that I've created. It's a plugin for OBS that is visualizing the audio that's connected to it. And you'll notice that the icon for the left intro, the icon is different. So what I've done here is, if you look at the properties, this is actually a mirrored source. So what I've done here is I've said use the right intro as the thing that you are mirroring, and then I've applied some transformations to flip it, and so when I turn it on and align them side by side, you get a thing. So I've done this in different places for other things, where you see something like this where it's sort of mirrored horizontally or inverted, beneath each other and stuff like that. Hey, in making a scene, yes indeed. So what Paddy has cleared his thing. So he says, I mean, on Alan and Mark's ends, whatever they will be looking at. What will they be looking at? Okay, that's a very good question. So if in a Video Ninja control room, as the director, the person that's running the control room, I can send my video to them. So what I do is this. I use the virtual camera in OBS, which will be the composited scene, and I send that as the camera into the control room. So what Mark and Alan see is a live version of the composited scene. So for them, it's like being in a Zoom call, because what they're looking at is something like this, because they're seeing what I'm broadcasting, but not delayed by several seconds that you see on OBS, on Twitch. They see within at most a couple of 100 milliseconds. So they see a live view of whatever I'm currently streaming. And as I change the scenes, they see all the scene transitions and everything. And I set the bit rate of that to 4000 kbits. So they see a fairly, decent image. So for the people being brought in, it's just like being in a Zoom call. And this is how we did it for Foss Talk Live. If you watch the Foss Talk Live things back, everyone that was participating saw live the room that they were in, and it's the only thing that they can see. So what I do is I turn off the ability for other people's cameras in the control room to be seen by other people. So when you join these control rooms, the only thing you can see is the composited scene I'm sending back out. Which makes it feel like you've just joined a video conference. So it feels very natural and, familiar. We did have a discussion about whether it was going to be family friendly tonight. I can't remember what the conclusion was. It was quite late and I'd been drinking. I think we're going to keep it family friendly, but then we did... Oh no, we may not be actually. Because there was some bits that we wanted to include that are definitely not. So it may be a break from tradition in that respect. You'll just have to tune in later and find out. We'll be on youtube.com/Ubuntu Podcast. Anyway, FX Boy, welcome back. It's good to see you here again. It's going out live. We're not putting any stream delay in or anything. It's going out live, and it will stay on YouTube. And we will not be editing it. So it'll be whatever it is. So where was I? We've got the intro. And we've got the biscuits. So let's just look at this. That's got... so this is the same idea. I've got a spectralizer that I've configured. In fact, this colour is wrong, but I suppose it'll have to do. And if I untick that...
I won't do it again, promise.
That's odd that that one's playing, but the other one isn't. Why? Why is that? Martin is confused.com. Let's go and have a look in here. Not wrong thing. Advanced audio. This isn't... Oh, that's why. Because monitor and output. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that's why it's not working. So I will go and fix that now, because this is something I will want to work later. So if I just mute that, do this. So what I'm changing here is this is the actual audio that we're playing out. Monitor and output. There we go. So, for example, if I now very quickly do this, there we go. You got a little burst of the theme tune. There we go. That's so actually that was important that I did that. Otherwise, that wouldn't have been working later. So that's good. So we've got the big logo, the intros, and for that. So, hello, Eric. How you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, OggCamp so much. So I've been attending the Open Source Summit.
Thank you for the follow, MayKB78.
Hey, Mayk, welcome back. I think welcome back. If not, welcome. I've been attending the Open Source Summit virtually this week. And it's been interesting, my experience of being a virtual attendee and some of my colleagues being there in person and sort of, getting back into the whole conference going thing. Although it was still very much a socially distanced conference, the Linux Foundation were taking extra special precautions. But yeah, I miss seeing my friends for sure. Hey Luke, welcome back. How are you? So Luke is just wondering why your top right cam is always flipped. Decision you made or just because of the animation? It is a decision I made because normally in this view where I've got OBS now, as I'm configuring it, when I flip my camera, it looks like I'm looking at the thing that I'm working on. So that's why I invert the camera when I'm doing this, so that as I'm actually clicking on things, I'm like looking at the area of the screen that I'm working on. And I get away with it, except when I've got text across my chest, and then everyone can tell I'm backwards. And of course, as I flip between these animations, it has to do a little, flippery-roo thing. But yeah, but that's why I just thought that was a nice little life hack. Because I've seen other streamers that have got literally multiple cameras to cover the different views, and I've not got, well, I have got multiple cameras because I've got one above me and I've got others there, but I don't want like a row of cameras up here. That'd be a nightmare. Right, yes, indeed. I'm left-handed and it looks like a lie. Yeah. So Eric says at some point I have to figure out getting the same camera feed in 2 running instances of OBS. So Eric, that is not a software thing, it's a hardware thing. So for example, if I switch to this scene in the OBS that I'm working on, you can see there's 2 of me. The only reason this is possible is because the hardware capture card that I have supports being accessed from multiple applications at the same time. If you're using a USB webcam or a USB capture card, this absolutely does not work. So I am using Magewell PCI capture cards in this machine. It's a quad capture card, and it works on those Pro Series capture cards, but it doesn't work on things like Camlink. What I haven't tested is if it works with these, which is their let's just move back to this. This is their let's just cover my face. There we go. This is their pro line of USB capture devices, which are undisputedly the best USB capture devices you can get. And I don't know if it works in these, but if it was going to work on any of them, I imagine it would be this, and I need to test it at some point. So maybe I should do that. Have I got a... I don't actually have a USB camera to plug into it, though. But whoops, where have I gone? I've gone entirely to the wrong scene. There we go. So, and the reason I use these specifically for when I'm connecting up devices like other computers and Raspberry Pis, and more so retro devices, because this thing supports every resolution refresh rate imaginable. It's amazing. So for example, if you want to boot another PC and go into the BIOS, this is the only thing that will render that out and give you a usable signal in OBS. They're amazing. They're mega expensive. They're like 300 quid. But I found somebody on eBay who'd got a job lot and they were selling them for £100 each, and then they're unopened. These are sealed. And for 100 quid they're a steal, because a Camlink 4K is 90 quid and these are way more. On eBay, a search for eBay for Magewell USB, and if there's somebody there selling them for £100 in the UK, well, should we go? Should we do it? Let's do it. Let's see if I can find them. I don't think this will be logged in using my eBay account. It should be correct. So, no. So let's just do Magewell USB, and maybe they've all sold out. United States. No, we don't. It was definitely a UK seller. Anyway, that you want a Gen 2. That's the other important thing. You will. Oh, what's this? That's United States again. Why is it not finding? There was loads of these the other day. Anyway, Australia. Well, anyway, you can see here that you don't want these ones. But this is the one, the Gen 2. But I don't know why they're not showing up from the UK, because there were several sellers. Oh, here we go. Oh no, it's all foreign providers. They must have sold out. But this only arrived 2 days ago. I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm definitely getting one of those. And this is for the other office, because I've got one on that desk behind me. And this was the capture device I bought. I don't know. I bought when I was working on Unity 8, when I was first hired by Canonical, because it was the only way I could reliably do screen captures of Mia for demoing and stuff like that. So there we go. But look around. But if you knew, they're mega spendy. Right then, FX Boy, NDI, or so. Let's get over that. So I do use NDI. I made my own NDI encoder, which was the thing that I made for our challenge in Foss Talk Live, and that's on the desk behind me, and that's how I get those cameras embedded into this OBS when I do hardware builds on that desk behind me. So NDI works great, and you can obviously ingest NDI multiple times. Oh, actually, you've got a good idea there, haven't you? You could take your camera, Eric, and export it over NDI as a device-specific NDI source, and then embed that NDI source as a scene, and then reuse it. Oh no, Yes, that's it. Send. Yeah, actually, this is. Let's do this. Let's do this. I've just caught up with FX Boy on what they were suggesting there. So yes, we could do this. So if I go down here to my own camera, which is this one, there I am. If I right click here and filters, can I do? I thought there was a... There we go. Dedicated Ndi output. Let's call this... So this is... I'm going to call this demo cam. Okay. There we go. I'll call it demo cam here. Oh, let's actually try and spell it. So this is from this OBS, okay? That's from this OBS that I'm broadcast, that I've embedded. I'm now, you can't see this, but I'm now going to my OBS that I am streaming from, and I'm adding an Ndi source. If I could just see it in the blooming there it is, Ndi Source, and I will call this demo cam. You can't, well actually you can see me typing this. This is me adding my demo cam, and hopefully now this is the dialogue in the OBS that I'm streaming from, and Ripper dedicated Ndi output. Oh, it doesn't show up. Why not? That's annoying. Why doesn't that show up? Is that because I haven't enabled something in the... But that clearly... Let's just think about this for a moment. Why wouldn't that work? Let me just check the... So I'm just taking a look at the confinement of that OBS demo thing. No, it's fine. Avahi control is connected. Let's just check snap info OBS Studio. Oh, connections. I'm sure this should be possible, but okay, that's all fine. So why doesn't that show up? Do I need to start it in some fashion? So let's go back here. So under Tools, I've created a Ndi Output Settings. Output. That's not what I want to do, because that's just going to send whatever I'm compositing. I thought this would have worked. So in here, I've definitely said... Oh, hang on. Did I put it on the wrong thing? There it is. Apply changes. Okay. So that's the source. It should be there. Can I do it on this? Filters, audio and video filters. That one says dedicated audio only. Okay. This one says dedicated Ndi output. Okay, well let's try applying it there rather than on the scene. So let's just close that. So I'll change the filters here and remove that and close that, and then add a filter here and add the Ndi output. Demo cam out. Demo cam out. Apply changes. Apply. So I don't think there was anything else I needed to do other than that. So if I just open up a terminal, Avahi browse. Aha. Okay, so I'm just bringing a terminal down. So I've just run. So NDI works by advertising things over Avahi, and I can see here that I've got my NDI out here. That's visible, so it should be. So I'm now going back to where I'm broadcasting from, and properties. Oh, there it is. Demo cam out. Right. So if I do that, I'll just make it visible again. Right, so hang on, let me get rid of this. So confusing. This is Windows in embedded OBS. It's absolutely impossible. So I will now turn that browser source on, and I will hit properties. So what you should be seeing now is me configuring the OBS that I'm broadcasting from. And you can see there's my demo cam out, and we'll allow hardware acceleration and all of that stuff. Latency will go for low because it's on the same host. Hit OK. There it is. There we go. So now if I resize this, there we go. That's how you do it, Eric. We've just figured it out. We've figured out how to work around the hardware limitations. So this window that you're hopefully seeing, I need to just now look at Twitch. Yes, this window you're seeing that I'm moving around, this is the NDI output from the thing that I'm configuring. So that's how you can do it. So I'm running 2 instances of OBS. The one that you're seeing broadcast is, you know, another build of OBS, so I can run 2 OBSs in separate namespaces so the configurations don't clatter one another. That's how I do it. But this is how I've now found a way to export, the camera from the one that I'm going. So now I'm going the other way. So I've created the full loop now. So this is sending the camera out from the one that I'm demoing back into the one that I'm broadcasting from. So you're seeing the hardware mirroring, which is, anyway, there we go. That's how you do it. You can use NDI. So FX Boy, you were right. That's NDI is a way to do it. The only thing you might need to do, Eric, is that there is some latency on NDI. Not so much when it's local. I mean, hopefully we can see here I've got 3 different versions of the camera coming either directly from the camera, in 2 cases, and then NDI, and it looks like my lips are mostly in sync with one another. If I do this, hello. That looks pretty close to me. That's locally. So there we go. That's how you can do it. Use NDI to expose your camera. That's pretty nifty. Nice one, FX Boy. That was an excellent leap of logic. I like that. It took me a moment to realise what you were suggesting there. 3, in fact. Yeah, we were just experimenting. We were just talking about how I do this multiple cameras embedded inside multiple versions of OBS. And I do it with hardware because unfortunately I've got hardware that supports it, but then we've just figured out how you can do it with software as well. So that's super cool. Yeah, but you can, if there is latency, Eric, you can adjust. You can then put a pad, an audio delay on your audio or delay the video. You can accommodate for that in OBS. But it looks like using this, because it's all local, It's just sending over the local interfaces, so that looks fine. Well, there we go. That was cool. I'm going to turn that off now. In fact, I'm going to just delete those things because that's a lot going. Otherwise, I'm sending. So the one thing you can't do with NDI is you can't control the bitrate. You can only define the resolution, and NDI implies the bitrate. So locally, it shouldn't be an issue. But when you're going over the network, that's a consideration, like how much data you're pushing around. Right then. So, and then what do we need? So now we can turn off the NDI filter inside here. Well, that's a neat trick. We all learned something there today. That was brilliant. I really like that. Well done, FX Boy. That is fantastic because I will be able to do this in the other office now, because I was just saying that the cam link can't do that, hardware binding of multiple clients to the camera, but I can use this trick. That's just fan-blooming-tastic. Really good. Yeah, you were worth the price of entry. That's fantastic. So let's just I'm just going to go and back. Yeah, so I didn't mash the apply button enough. Okay, so FX Boy had a random question from earlier on. He says, do you know if OBS will easily capture an MJPEG network source? I presume so. I think so, because you can add a GStreamer source. So if you can make a GStreamer pipeline to ingest whatever MJPEG you have over the network, then yes, is my answer. You'll have to figure out how to do the pipeline, but yeah, I'm sure it's possible. And you can also do it with, if not with the MJPEG, if not with GStreamer, then with a VLC source. I'm sure either of those will do what you need to do. On that encoder. So FX Boy, you also said, is there a write-up on that encoder somewhere? Which encoder were you referring to? I've kind of lost the track of the thing here. Danny, yeah, I didn't mash the apply button enough, I don't think. Okay, right, yeah, I need to get on that. I mean, it's easy to do live streams. It's another thing to script those videos, those OBS tutorials. The last time, when I last tried this, so Eric went on, so I had 2 separate instances of your OBS snap running. Yeah, do the separate namespaces. Yeah. So what I've done is I've cheated slightly, Eric. I've actually built a separate snap. In fact, can you see in the title? No, you can't tell from the title. But I can show you here if I just bring up another terminal. And if I just do snap list and do grep OBS, you will see there's OBS CLI, which is obviously what I use to, poke at the WebSocket. And then I have OBS Demo and OBS Studio. OBS Studio is what I am is the OBS Studio snap that is available in the Snap Store. I obviously have it installed locally because I build and maintain that, so I always run from a local build. OBS Demo is the exact same snap where I've just changed the name of the snap to OBS Demo. That puts it in another namespace, and that means that I can have the two sitting side by side and not clattering each other, and I can be confident that they won't get tied up. So that's how I do it. But you can also use the OBS Studio snap to launch itself twice using different configurations, because there are command line arguments to tell OBS Studio what to launch, what config to use. I'm less confident in that, which is why I do it this way. I know that on Windows people use like the portable version of OBS to do exactly what I've done. OBS in 2 different directories so that the configs are stored in separate places. Right then, so also Droid CamX works really well for turning Android or iPhones into either Wi-Fi or USB cameras. So Paddy, also you don't need to use that because OBS or Video Ninja that I was talking about earlier can do that. You can go to Video Ninja with your phone. In fact, should we do this? Let's do this. This is a source I usually use. This is a capture port on the card that I don't have hooked up right now. So if I just turn that off, there we go. What we'll do is I'm adding this live into what I'm broadcasting. So I'm going to add a browser source. You can't see me pick the thing. I'm going to have to move back to the other view. So if I just go to code chat, hang on. If I go here, I can't do this. I can't do this and show at the same time. Oh no, I can actually. Yes, I can. Let's do this. So I'm adding a browser source. Here is the dialog for that. So I am going to call this iPhone. So here is my browser source configuration. And I have got a bookmark here. Here is my iPhone. I have got a bookmark in my browser, I think. Bookmarks, that. Okay. So I think if I do this and allow, so on my phone right now, on my phone right now, I'm just configuring Video Ninja. So I'm choosing the back camera. And I'll just turn off the audio sources and we'll hit start. So on my phone, I'm now, got Video Ninja running. So I will just turn off the audio to be absolutely sure because we don't want an audio link going. So I'll probably plug this in because I haven't charged it for 2 days. So, I think I need to do something like, let's change the resolution to 1920 by 1080. Let's change this to Video Ninja. Video.ninja. Oh, let's go back to the code chat so you can see what I'm doing. So, there we go. This is me adding the browser source. And I think I need to do view equals. I think that's the code. Right, okay. There you go. You are now seeing my camera. And I'll resize this. There you go. So that is, without me having to do anything clever, I just started Video Ninja. And there we go. That's it. My camera is now embedded in the stream, just like that. That's easy, isn't it? So, yes, you can use things like Droid Cam and all the rest of it. And in fact, this technique that you're seeing now is exactly how Mark is joining our live stream. He's got an old phone he uses as his camera, and he's got a microphone plugged into the camera, a better quality microphone, and that's his webcam. But he's putting the OBS Ninja link directly in to the camera and streaming, using the camera directly to stream. So there you go. That's how you do that. So nice and easy. Video Ninja is an astonishingly useful tool. So I've done that over 4G as well, but it works so well. I mean, I used to use it on my Android phone, and if you've seen that in my past live streams where I've done those show and tell things, it works. But for whatever reason, the Android phone was always out of focus using it, but the iPhone
Thank
works.
You for the follow, Tiago VGAMG.
Thanks for the follow, Tiago. Welcome. So it would be awesome if KD gained the ability to share your phone. Yeah. Does something require that you use OBS? Does what require that you use OBS? Video Ninja. So it used to be called OBS Ninja, and they now call it Video Ninja because you can use it in things other than OBS. So yeah, it works really nicely. It's a very powerful tool. Lots to read, but it's terrific. If you've ever seen our live streams where we do the multiplayer, real-time multiplayer racing game, we have a quad screen. And in fact, instead of me describing these things, I need to get in the habit of showing people what I'm talking about. So if we go here, because we did one last weekend. Let's just mute that. Go to videos. Oh, I'm actually looking at myself. How do I get to past videos if I'm broadcasting? Oh, that's tricky, isn't it? Can I do this? Can I go channel? Oh. Bother. Well, anyway, past videos, we do 4-player multiplayer stuff, and the screen sharing of the games and the cameras and everything is all done with Video Ninja. So we do all of the game streaming, and we I think this last week there was me here in the UK, Yannick in Switzerland, Big Pod in Slovenia, Eric in America, and it's all within a couple of 100 milliseconds. It's in step with one another. When you look at the timestamps on like the first laps of the race, because we're obviously all starting from zero, if you freeze frame it, you'll see that the times are only ever like a couple of 100 milliseconds out of step with one another. So as we're clattering into one another, it's all in sync. It looks amazing. Right then. Well, that was an interesting diversion. Lots of Video Ninja stuff and NDI stuff. But where was I? Let's get back to what I was doing, because I've completely forgotten. And if I don't get this done, there will be no after party, and everyone will be sad. At least I will. So I think I've turned this off, right? I think I turned off. Yeah, that's all good. So I'm not wasting resources pumping NDI sources around. So there's our cameras, and we have Biscuits, which is correctly configured, and we have the intro, which is correctly configured. So now I will create, I'm going to duplicate this. No, in fact, I'll create a new scene called UPC. Is Mark Johnson still in the live stream? I know he stopped by earlier. UPC outro. Aha, hello, perfect. So Mark, this is building on my proposal to use that thing you recorded as the outro. Are you up for that? Because I thought that was epic. So when we say goodbye to everyone, it would play this thing. So I'm now going to take a copy of these two things. I'm going to copy that, and hopefully I'll be able to paste these as duplicates. Yes, okay. So we'll rename these to right outro and left outro. And we'll put that one there, and we'll do this, and then pick up, instead of the audio source being intro, it will be outro. And then if we look here, we had these two scenes which we can create references for rather than duplicates. So references mean, look, I've got this already defined, this scene, we just bung it in. So there we go. And now what we need to do is add into this our nested scene, which is our audio outro. And there we go. So I can see that my left and right is wrong, because this is something I've noticed in OBS. Sometimes when you create duplicates, it doesn't bring the transformations with it. So what we'll do is we'll copy the right intro transformation, which is its resolution, position, size, all of that sort of thing. We'll go to outro and we'll paste that on here. Transform, paste the transform. And then we'll go to intro, left intro, and we'll copy its transformation and we'll paste that onto the outro one. Transform, paste. Oh, hang on, I've done that, clearly done that wrong, haven't I? Ah, I know what it is. Actually, that's not the issue with this. The issue here is this needs to use right outro as its source. There we go. Now it's happy. So that is now the outro piece done. So we've got some scenes there which are going to be used for this. In fact, I'll just put that on mute for the moment. So this one is going to be our start for the intro, then the intro music, and then at the end of the thing we'll do the outro piece. So those are our sort of beginning pieces and end pieces, and we'll put those in order. So we've got that, and we've got our main scene, although I'm not sure what I think about this. With the three of us, I'm not sure this arrangement works particularly well, so we'll have to have a little think about that. Right then, you've noticed that quirk too, Eric. Yeah, so let's have a look. Hello Takov, how you doing? Let's have a look. So Mark says it's fine by him. Yeah, I think that would be cool. Takov says, I was saying it's probably haven't got sense. Look, parallel install and alias can be installed, multiple OBS, different name, but same version, different directory. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I need to just make sure I've got all of these chat windows in sync, because sometimes I need to look at this one and I'm well out of date. Right then. Okay, so what else do we need? We need this screen view. We need this setting up here. So this is going to be our embedder thing. So I'm going to remove this browser source because we don't want that specifically. I think what we'll do is we'll take the logo of this, we'll just unlock that and we'll move that over here. So let's just do a transform on this, because we did have a fourth person here, but we can just put our little logo in there. That can be whizzing around the screen. I think there is probably about right. So we'll just lock that out. And then what I'm going to do now is add an embedded screen is what we're going to do. So there's a couple of ways we can do this. Oh, that's not a bad idea, Joey. I wonder if we can do such a thing in time. I'll have a think about that. Let's have a think about. So, yeah, if we can get enough photos together from Ubuntu podcast stuff, we could totally do that. So Joey's suggestion is we use this area as like a rolling slideshow of stuff from the podcast, pictures from the podcast. I'll have to have a think about that, see if we've got time to put something like that together. That's a good idea though. Right then. So this is going to be our screen area. Oh my gosh, these multiple monitors in embed. It hurts my brain. Okay. Podcasts aren't ripe with visual content. No, but this is a live stream, so we've got. I was just thinking, we've got some pictures from Foss Talk Live, and we've got some pictures from that in-person meetup we did. But I think we'd literally have like maybe a dozen photos, and that would probably look a bit tired if those were just rotating round. I think I've got an idea. I've got an idea what we can do to improve the 3-person layout, but we'll have a little think. So if I just move between these two at the moment, so the podcast logo also moves nicely now into the appropriate spot. That's looking good. Oops. So what we'll do now is we're going to embed into this scene. Now, I'm going to create this as a scene because this is one of those things where you only want to define it once. So we're going to create a nested scene and we'll call this, oh my gosh, I don't even know if this is going to work. NVFBC. Do I want to do it this way? Let's just see screen. Let's just see if this works. There's a good chance this won't work. And I'm going to add a NV because I'm on NVIDIA. I've patched my NVIDIA drivers to work with. It's worked. Wow. Okay. Keep the cursor. Okay. So if I now make this small. Oh, actually, no, that was right. I want to do that. So this is maximum inception. So what this is doing is this is grabbing my virtual screen. I can't even begin to explain how all of this is working now. I've got things embedded inside things multiple times. But what I'll do here is add that source, that scene rather, which is called Nest NVFBC screen. And then I'll just resize this just very quickly. So there we go. So that is what you're looking at here. Is when I edit the properties on that, you will have seen it had all of my screens. I've got two 27-inch monitors in front of me. They're connected over DisplayPort. I've got one HDMI output in my NVIDIA, on my NVIDIA graphics card. Plugged into that, I have one of those sort of monitor stubs. It's an HDMI connector with no monitor attached, but it's got all the ED/ID information to convince my machine. In fact, I can show you what this looks like. To convince my machine that it has a monitor attached, and here it is. It thinks there is a 1080p monitor attached, and there's not. It's just an empty thing. So this is how I do these streams. Gosh, am I actually displaying that? Yeah, I am. The screen that you're looking at is a screen that doesn't exist. I only see it within OBS. When I move to this view, so when I'm on the main chat, hello, this is me, it's just a camera. When I move to this view, what you're actually looking at is this screen that doesn't exist that I embed into this view. It must sound horribly complicated, but this is how I can, create an area of the screen that you can see. And you can see here that, because this is the screen, you'll notice that, down here there's no chat and no video, because in the version I'm broadcasting, I'm compositing the live chat and my video over the top of that gap. This is just the wallpaper on that screen that you're looking at here. Hope that makes sense. But anyway, so that's one way you can capture a screen without having to have it hooked up through a capture device. You can just capture the whole screen. Now you can do this with, instead of NVFBC on regular Ubuntu, you can use X shared memory, but that's not as efficient. So if you've got NVIDIA, use NVFBC, providing that you patch your drivers. So now we've got this, we can make this as big as it is reasonable to do so to fit on the screen. So let's just try a couple of transformations that we think should be sensible. Oh, hang on a minute, I'm in the wrong. I need to go down here and edit this transform. So let's try, so that's 1200. Let's try 1600 by 900 and see if that's going to fit. No, not a chance. So let's change that transform to 1280.
Thank you for the follow, Satric75.
Hey Satrak, thanks very much for the follow, welcome. That is, it can be bigger, can't it? So let's just make that sort of as big as we can manage. And then, where's the sticky point? It's sticking to the edges, which I don't want. I want to find the... I'm just going to do it by eye. So that isn't precisely sized, but there we go. So now we've got a view where I can display what's on my screen and you can see the three of us. So that can be used for our demo. And then what we'll do is all of these things here that we've got, we're going to duplicate, just move back. We're going to duplicate, hang on a minute. I'm confused what I'm looking at now. Hang on. What are we looking at now? Yeah, okay. I actually need to look at the stream to understand what I'm looking at, because this is so confusing. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this scene. And we're going to call this what can I call it? other cam. So we'll just move this up here. We'll put that there. We'll turn off this scene inside it for the moment. We will add another scene, which is Alan's second camera, which we may not use, and then we will copy the transform for that screen, because we know that resolution fitted, and we will paste it over Alan's second camera. So you can see the red outline of where that camera would appear. So I can now delete that, I think, and I'll lock that out. So we've now got our main view, our show a screen, which I can do web browsers and stuff, and a second camera should we want to use that. We've got our outro. We've got our two intro pieces. So we've got problems. Let's think about this. We could probably use our intro screen for this and just, yeah, we can do this. So we'll just do this. We will embed the whole of the UPC intro, top level, this one, like that. And then we'll add, in fact, we'll actually steal this. We'll copy that and we'll paste a duplicate. And we'll call this, let's just do that. We'll call this, rename, problems. And we'll just change that text to read that. We'll change the font down to, I don't know, half that size. Unclip that and just do this. So now why is this not clamping to the, oh, snap to the horizontal? There we go, that's why. Right, that's better. So now if the worst happens, we now have a screen where I can say, I can flip to this and none of our audio or video is going out. So if we've had a camera fail or something like that, or audio gone screwy, in our control room, we can deal with that behind the scenes whilst we have this up, which will play our theme tune. So what I need to do is make sure that this, so we've got audio intro. We just need to go and look at audio intro and make sure that that says always play from the beginning. So this is the actual audio source for this, and we'll look at the properties. Restart playback, and yeah, restart means from the beginning, which is the right thing to do. And do we want to loop it? Well, no. If it takes more than 3 minutes to fix, we've got bigger problems on our hands. Right then, so there's another scene. So we've now got our it's all gone wrong. We've got our outro. We've got a second camera. We've got view the web. And we've got the three of us. So what to do about this view? So I need to catch up on chat. I've been ignoring you all because I just needed to sort of get those basics in place, because otherwise I was concerned that, you know, I wouldn't get this done. So, hey, First Blood. So, thank you for the kind words about Ubuntu Mate. Thank you very much. You're welcome. I'm glad Ubuntu Mate works for you. Right. Right, okay. So Mark Johnson says, I use one of those dongles on my Steam box. Yes. Only view the screen via Steam Link. Yeah. And I've heard, on X2Go, that's exactly what I've heard, is people using those little HDMI doofers for remote headless systems where you need a display for whatever the remoting tool is to connect with. I think I got a little bag of 3 for a tenner, and they go up to, providing a 4K resolution. Not that you'd want to do that necessarily, but you can. I think they're fab. What was the device you bought to make that happen in the HDMI out? Well, let me go and find that. So, as I said, part of the reason for doing this stream was to just sort of chill out a little bit and have a chat. So let's go and have a look. Is this logged in as me? It's not. So HDMI, let's just say dongle for the moment, see if we can find it. This is what I bought. In fact, exactly this, except I got 3 of them in a thing. So that's what they look like. You just plug them into an HDMI port and it looks like a monitor. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I checked when I was picking mine is that although I didn't need 4K, if you find one that says it does 4K, then you know it's decent quality. But that is the one that I bought, but I found them in a 3-pack. Let's do 3-pack. Let's see. Oh yeah, you can get DisplayPort equivalent. So I think this is exactly what I got. There we go. Yeah, and
thank you for the follow, Shindigs11.
In fact, I did buy this one. Look, I purchased it on the 16th of August, so I am logged in as me. There we go. That is exactly what I bought. And I've used 2 of them, and I've got one of them looking for, I think it's going to go on this behind me, because I'm going to be working on some remote GPU benchmarking. So hopefully I've answered that question. I'm gonna pay attention to the chat now. So Mark says, I've got audio working with my OBS virtual camera. Okay. Using virtual audio cables on Windows. Nice. Okay, so we were talking about that earlier. I'm glad you've got that working. Excellent. And then Danny says, I think for 3 cameras you want to move the bottom, Martin, to the center horizontally. So I'm getting design input here. This is helpful. Right, let's move back to OBS. So I think this is what I did for the Linux lads, didn't I? I did this. Yeah, so Danny, I think this is a good suggestion. You're saying that in this view, I unlock... I'm on the wrong... See, this is the problem with these virtual screens. You get confused where you sit. So, unlock me, and then move myself over like this. Is this what you're suggesting? And then maybe we move that logo so it's not where it is right now. That's it, pinned in the center. Is that what you were describing, Danny? And if so, what can we do with this? can't. Oh, so small. Right. So, just a thought. This thought just hit me where I suggested the picture slideshow. Put a bunch of pics of ThinkPads. Oh, and then it becomes ThinkPad Corner. Oh, Joey, that's so good. Okay. We could have a go at making that. Right. I like that a lot. That's a clever idea. So our podcast says the Nvidia card on my Thelio has some spare display port and maybe an HDMI port, so this should work well. Yeah, so the reason I use HDMI for this, Eric, is for a very simple, arbitrary reason. I only have one HDMI port on my Nvidia cards. So I use the HDMI dongle so I can easily tell whether I'm connecting to it. So when I configure it, I just choose HDMI. It's the only one on the system. Rather than knowing which display port it's plugged into. Close. Okay. So Danny says close. I thought move Alan and Mark down so there's a 10 pixel overlap. Martin on top and move the logo to center top. Hang on, I'm going to need to read that again. Alan and Mark down so there's like a 10 pixel or so overlap. Martin on top. So you're saying on top layer wise. Okay. I'm still not following. I'm being dense, sorry. So RJ says, you may have answered this already, but will the after party be available to watch after the fact? Yes, it will. It will be staying on YouTube afterwards. So if you can't join live, it will be there. So bottom right of Alan is underneath the top left of Martin. Okay, let me see if we can do this then. Let's turn off the locked positions. I need to remove Alan's camera from this view, second camera. So I'm going to unlock all of us. So you're saying something like this, except I do order move to the top. Oh, I've done the wrong thing. Order move to the top. Are you thinking that sort of thing, Danny? You're welcome, RJ. Or am I just not getting this at all? And then you have a space for the logo at the top of the screen. Do we? I'm not sure we do. Yeah. You'll do a drawing. Are you going to post this in the Ubuntu Podcast Telegram channel? All design input welcome, by the way. Oh my gosh. Right, okay. Right. This could work though. I wanted to try and keep the logo on the screen. So maybe, actually, I'll tell you what we could do. We could get rid of this, hide that one. Add a scene in here, which is the big logo. And doesn't quite work, does it? Change that and add the other scene, which is the static. So bring that in there. Background solid. That doesn't look very good, does it? I don't think Martin likes that idea at all. So let's put that one back on. I mean, what does this transition looks okay. But small logo was out of view, so maybe that would work. So let's go here and copy that transform. Copy that transform and paste it on here. Because I've got a gradient on the screen, so actually the logo is a little bit more visible. So now when we do this, maybe I need to rename these as well to be logo small and logo big. That would be sensible. Right, I see I've been pinged somewhere. Where did that go? It went into the Ubuntu Podcast Telegram channel. Right. Yeah. Okay, I do understand what you're driving at there, Danny. I think the problem is that my video will clip the... I'm just looking at your picture. Thank you. I do appreciate the design input. This is great. Probably you have answered it. Oh, what have I missed? Takov. Sorry. Does Stream FX implemented in the OBS? It does not appear as the other. Oh, right. Stream FX is in the OBS Snap. It doesn't have drop-down menus. It's only exposed in the encoder output settings. I've disabled the menus, so it's just a thing to be configured via plugins and output settings and what have you. I can probably show that in here. So this is the one I'm not broadcasting from, and here is StreamFX, as you can see by the fact that all of these additional options are available for encoding FFmpeg. Right, yay, Surface Pro X stencil. Yeah, I need to do something, because I've been thinking about a cool idea to do with the tablet, where so this tablet has a pen input, and I was thinking that you could make the background of the stylus on this green, hook the USB-C up to one of the HDMI capture ports, because I have a spare HDMI capture, and put the stylus thing on, and then make this like the background and green screen it, and then you'd be able to do like a light marker live on the stream and actually write notes, you know, on the stream and like annotate stuff. I thought that would be super cool. So that's a little hack I was interested in working on. Anyway, so I've got this at the moment, Danny. has that answered your question, Takov? So we've got this, we've got that, we've got this. But then if we go from intro, can you see, look, the logo, when it transitions from here, we've got a big logo, and that goes off screen and a new logo comes on. So what we'll do is we'll try and fix that. We'll try and fix that by renaming a few things. So we will change these names to be logo small and logo big. And I'll show you why I'm doing this. But basically, the way that I've got the transitions configured is they'll name match on the first part of the name and then ignore the second part. So I'm not sure if that's going to do it or not. It still may not do the right thing because, yep, that's doing the right thing now. Can you see? So it's ignoring the last part, the last word in the name. So now it thinks that logo big and logo small are the same asset, which technically speaking they are. So now when these things transition, they and that also means that if we are here and we go to the problem, oh, that didn't work. Oh, because UPC, that's an entirely different thing. But if we go from here to outro, there we go, that animates correctly. But then the other thing that's not moving correctly is the background gradients. So we'll rename these and we'll just remove the hyphen and we'll call it background gradient background solid. And that should treat those as the same source. So now if we go from here to here, it should have just faded the background change. So as we go from intro to podcast, yeah, the background gets faded in now and we get, our cameras get brought in. So here's what the Google folks did. What's this in relation to, Danny? Let me just paste this up here and immediately hit pause and mute this site. Polycast behind the scenes. Oh right, yes, exactly the sort of thing that I'm referring to. So if I just move this tab to a new window. Oh, actually I can move it to that window down here. There we go. So I won't play the audio because I don't know if there's music behind it, but yes, they're doing that sort of thing. So that's exactly what I had in mind, was being able to augment things. So I'm being asked what transitions am I using, but yeah, that's the sort of idea that I've got in mind. Let's just close that as well. So in terms of the transition itself, Eric, I will show you. Let's just go back to OBS. Which one are we working on? Is it that one? There we go. So you'll see here I have a transition called FTL Move 1, which is the transition that I made for FOSS Live. It's mostly what we used in FOSS Live. So if I just hit the cog for that and the properties, here is the transition. So these transitions, they're a little bit of a fiddle to understand. But first we've got the source matching. So it says here, the source is matched if it contains the other source name and also if it contains the other source name with the last word removed. And this is so I can have different, as you've just seen, I can have different assets with, except for the last word, the same name. And so the transition thinks these are the same things. So it will then say, well, there's this object called small logo and this thing called small logo. I'm going to move, they are the same. So those are the two things I'm going to move from point A to point B. The switch point is at which point in the transition does the change happen. And that can be the size and what have you. And then this is how I've configured the element. So it says here, for matched items, it will ease in and out using a quartic easing function. A no transition. So this can be cut or fade. So this is none. It's just going to move the thing from point A to point B. And then what the scaling is going to be, and then what the curve on the easing function looks like, and you can move that along the slider. And I'm not going to mess with this because I have this the way I want it, but you can, you know, move those around and actually move between sources. So you can still have this up on the screen and move between sources, and as you make changes, see what the effect of the things you're changing has over the transition. So that's matched items. So that means it finds the logo, and this is how it's going to transition the logo from the position it's in on the first scene to its position and size on the second scene. So that's what this first bit is doing here. Then appearing items are things which are in the scene you're switching to, which are not in the scene that you're currently on. So it's how things are going to be brought into the scene. So again, I have ease in and ease out. Technically, I only need ease in, I suppose. I then use the exponential easing function and with zoom. So this time, new items coming in will be, you know, of no size at all, and they'll zoom into position rather than coming into position in their full resolution. And then the position is, where are they coming from? So this is where on the screen are they going to come in, and I also fade these in as well, and then I have a different curve. So that's what you see when we do this. So if we're on this scene here, if I now switch to this scene, this is what is controlling our cameras. So you can see them coming in from the bottom left quite quickly. You know, they're not slow moving, they're quite quickly, those come into position, and that's what controls those things coming onto the screen. And then similarly, we have disappearing items. So these are things that are currently on the screen that are not on the scene you're transitioning to, and how they are going to be taken off the screen. So as you can see, we go do ease in, ease out, and then use a quadratic easing function, and again they zoom out. So this is on the scene I'm looking at the moment here. This is what dictates how our cameras are going to be removed. So you can see here that we also fade and zoom, and it goes to the bottom right. So what you should see now is that our cameras will go from where they are and zoom and move off and fade out to the bottom right of the screen. So if we just move here, there we go. And that's basically how that transition is created, and you can fiddle with all of those knobs and dials for your own transitions to change the way that they appear. So for example, if you've ever seen our Slim DevOps live streams, I have a view where Peter and I usually have like a web page up about something we're talking about, and they're browser sources, and I have those set up that there's a transition where appearing items sort of whoosh in from the left, and then disappearing items ease out to the right. So it looks like slide cards are like cover flow. Slide cards are coming in and out. So it's very powerful and flexible, but once you get into fiddling with these things, it can take a long time to get the look that you're after. But there we go. So that's the OBS. My demo OBS just crashed. Oh, okay. We'll restart that. And it's back. Okay, we'll assume that everything's fine. So, UPC intro, that's fine. What were we working on? We've done the other camera. We've done the screen. Okay, so that's an interesting one. So that would have potentially, if we had something on the other camera, we'd see that appear, but that's actually, not, there's nothing connected because Alan's not logged in. So there's our main. So I think I'm going to go with this, Danny, although it looks like we could probably make each of these a little bit bigger. So let's just go and look at the transform for mine. So I've currently got them at 960 by 540. So what we'll do is this. There's a nice website that I use called True 16:9 Ratios. This is it. And this has got a list of all of the 16:9 ratios, and the ones in green are the true 16:9s that are divisible by the right numbers. So let's have a look. I'm currently at, what did I say? Was it? Yeah, 960 by 540. So let's try 976 by 549. 976. Whoops. 976 by 549. That's clearly going to fit. So what was the next one? 992 by 558. 992 by 558. Let's do that. 992 548. That fits. So what I'm trying to do is make these versions of our cameras as big as possible, and I think we can go a bit bigger still. So let's go with 1008 by 567. Transform, edit. 1008 by what was it? Got 100567. Oh, that should have been easy to remember. 567. Oh, come on then. Let's do that then. There we go. I think that's going to work. There we go. I fit there. I think Mark and Alan are going to fit with that. So let's just edit each of theirs. Transform, edit. Oh, hang on, that's me. That's my one I'm editing again. Transform. 1008 by 567. Close. So I might need to just move mine down a bit to make the things line up nicely, but that's better. That's more of us on screen now. So we'll do the same for Mark's camera. (1008 by 567). Okay. Does that work? Or is that... Oh, actually, what we can do is this. We can... Let's just move to tight and then... Like so. How are we looking? That looks good enough. What do we think? What was that site I just pulled up? It's this one. It's quite an old blog post, I think. So this is the URL, but if you just search for... So it's PAQ. If you just search for 16:9 true resolutions, you'll find it. But this table is invaluable. It's great. It's really useful when you want... Well, I'm doing the game stuff and I really want them to be divisible by 8 and I want them to be true 16:9. I don't care so much for the cameras, it's fine. This looks just fine. I think that's a bit better though, isn't it? We're although I think now we'll need to oh no, that needs to stay where it is because... So if we just lock all of these out so I don't mess them up. If we go to here, yeah, that's it. That's nice. So that now moves there. I don't think we can make those cameras any bigger. We could make them smaller potentially. We could do squared off versions of ourselves, which would give us a bit more space back and therefore make the on-screen thing bigger. Glad that was useful, Eric. Okay. Thanks for trying to correct me, Danny. I need to be better at looking in chat. That was okay. So let's get into this. So I'll have a go at this because what we've got here is we've got our cameras in landscape, and these are created from a couple of transformations. So first of all, if we just take a look at Mark's camera here, we have the nested nobody camera. We then have the browser source for Mark's video camera, and then we have the text overlaid. So let's just go and look at the Nest nobody camera is this silhouette. So the reason that I do that is that when I'm doing these things, live stream or not, I can see a representation of what things are going to look like, and when they join the stream, it will just, by virtue of the ordering here, Mark's camera is overlaid on top of the nobody camera silhouette. So as soon as Mark connects, his image replaces it. But it also means that if we're, oh my gosh, look at that, as if by hello, Mark. So this is a whole different kind of stream sniping. Hang on a moment. Let me just regain my composure and do this. There we go. And hang on. If I go here. Oh, hang on. How are you doing this? Because I can't see you in the control room. Am I looking at the wrong control room? I was just going to try and get your audio in. There's Mark. There we go. Unmute guest. If you say something, Mark. Mark, can you hear me? Oh, no, that's it. Mark's only going to be able to hear me on the stream. One moment. I need to change that to that. Cool. Talk about think on your feet. Okay, Mark, can you hear me?
How's that?
There we go. And there's audio.
Well, I can hear you on the stream.
Yeah, and I can hear you. I can hear you now as well. There we go. So if you mute the stream, we should be able to converse. So there we go. As if by magic, and there's a live Mark Johnson. So yeah, that's how it works. It's pretty flexible stuff. Well, that looks good. So this is your your phone is connected through Video Ninja directly, I think. Oh, has he just disconnected? I didn't do that. Anyway, it perfectly demonstrates Mark disconnecting and the silhouette appearing. So, right then. So, hey Blue Shift, will Mark ever be heard from again after the podcast? I'm sure. Those are the sorts of questions you need to bring to the live stream tonight. There we go. Right then, so we've got a new thing for the three of us. I think that works. There we go. Brilliant. That just made me think of Laura. Yeah, well, yeah. There may be a little bit of Laura. You'll have to watch later. Right then. So I was now going to take this view and do a change. So I was just explaining how the cameras were put together. Mark helped out with that. But what we can look at here is I've got the cameras, and then I've got some transforms. So we've then got, one of these. So if we look at mine, it's it does a couple of things here. So I've mirrored my Martin landscape, which is a mirror of the nest. So if I look at this is a mirror of that Ninja Martin cam. Okay, so this is the thing that has the silhouette and the name over the top of it. So that's using a filter, because this is a very efficient way to do these things. That's using a filter called Source Mirror, which you can use for scenes. Now, the reason I do this is because if you've ever done anything with applying filters to nested scenes, you'll know that doesn't work so well. So by creating a source mirror, I can apply filters to what is effectively a nested scene. So what we have is that. Oh, am I in the wrong view again? So then I have, in fact, I have no filters applied to that because I think all the filters are applied to here. So to the scene itself, I then apply two filters. One is an image mask and blend, which is what is an image mask that creates the shape, and then I use another filter to create the inner glow, which is what creates the orange border. So that's how these two things. Now you can do this with shader filters, but that's quite processor intensive. So I'm doing this with an alpha channel mask. So what I was thinking of doing is creating versions of these, but for a square mask. So we can make our webcams square, which means when we're doing that screen view, we can have a bit more screen space for the actual display. So we'll create three of these. Now let's just think about this. I'll do this with my own to start with and just make sure I can remember how to do this. It's been a while. So we'll call this one Martin Square. Yeah, it's true. So we'll just move that up. We'll then add a source mirror. We'll call it Martin Square. Let's spell that correctly. And our source for that is going to be my nested camera. this, because this scene is, you know, all of the effects that we want in terms of the name overlay. So that's fine. So that's what I want. But then what we'll do is this. We'll then apply a filter. Now we'll do a mask. It's an image mask and blend. And I think it's an alpha. And then I've got an asset that I've pre-made. I made some of these masks in the past. So I think they're in my masks folder. And I've got one here called mask square. Select. So, that's not what I want. I don't want alpha, I want color. There we go. So if you do alpha, you get that tessellated effect, which I don't want. Now what you'll notice is there's a problem here, because it's cropped in. And consequently, there's not as much of me in shot. So we're going to do a couple of things. First thing I'm going to do is change the transform on this and punch out. Effectively push the camera view back so more of me appears inside this cutout. Now, I don't need to calculate this because I've probably already done it in this one here. So if I just close that, if I right click on here and look at my transform, sorry, in the rectangular one, look at the transform, you can see that I've already changed the size of this thing down to this resolution. So what's that? That's a weird size, 1777. So let's just go and look that up on this list here. So actually it was 1776 by 999 is what I was going for. So we'll put that same one in. So 1776 by 999. So we'll put that on the square one, and you'll see what happens. So we'll put a transform here. (1776) by, I've already forgotten. Hopeless. 999. That was even easier to remember. Right then. There we go. So if I do that, you can now see that that has preserved more of me. Now, because of the jaunty angle that I'm sat at, I know that something else I need to do is this. So if I just turn off the transform for my camera and mine alone, because I'm at right angles and I know Mark and Alan aren't, I will move my... Oh, that's moving the text as well. Maybe I won't do that. I will just do that. I will have to shift positions. Haha. So if I do that, that has created my view, and then again here I can add now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to recreate the wheel here. I'm going to look at my filter here and change this filter. So I've got SDF effects, so that should be fine. I'm going to copy that filter. In fact, what I could have done is if I go on here, go to filters, and I know I can't do that because I need the square one. So yeah, I'll just copy that filter again because I can't remember if I've removed it. Take this SDF effect filter, copy it, close, and paste filters. Oh, it won't let me do it. Okay. Can I paste? Oh, I can paste it here though. There we go. Perfect. Okay, that'll do. So now I have a square camera. And what we'll do now is we will create new ones for Cam Allen Square. So you can see that my naming convention is quite deliberate here, because as far as my transition is concerned, Cam Allen Landscape, Cam Allen Square are the same asset. So they should be not just moved, but they should be resized and treated as one object when we get into the transitions later. So we'll have a Cam Mark Square. Now, I think what we'll do is move that to there. If I copy that, can I paste a duplicate? Yes. And I can rename it Square. Square, like so. And I can do the same for Mark. So I can take Mark's landscape, copy it, paste that one in here, or duplicate it, and rename and Square. And now what I should be able to do is right click on here and say copy the filters off of my camera for the square thing, and then paste those filters onto Alan's. I just turn the things off, and then Mark, and then paste those filters onto Mark's. And that should be good. So now if we come back up to this view, so we're all still rectangles, but if I turn off each of these, I can now embed scene for Alan's square camera. And I don't know if this is going to be right, but we'll just, for the starters, we'll transform, copy that transform and paste it onto his square one. Gets us approximately where we need to be, but we can see we've got some, we can either leave them that size or make them a bit bigger, but we've got a bit more space to play with, you know, in terms of this screen here now. So I think that size is what we'll go with. So we'll just bring that down there. So we'll now add Mark's camera in square form and put that there. We'll copy Mark's transform and paste it. And I'll do the same with my own. And I need to, oh yeah, I need to bring it down. That's why I'm confused. So bring that down with my own. Alan, Mark. What am I looking at? Why am I so confused? Oh, I see, because I've put Alan's in the wrong spot. So Alan, Mark, and then mine's in the wrong spot. There we go. And then copy the transform over. Right then, look at that. Oh, that's so good. That actually lines up. That's staying. I'm not messing with that. That's golden. So there we go. There's the three of us. So now when we move between this view and the podcast view, our cameras move and resize, because that transform knows to, you know, take those things together. So probably not if it's going to blow up the house. So then we will now say copy, copy, copy that. In the other camera, we'll now disable the landscape versions of ourselves. Paste a reference. Put these in all the right spots. There we go. Yeah, you like that? I'll stick the masks in the Discord channel later, because I've made them for circles and rectangles and landscapes, and they're designed for 1080p. So providing you're using a 1080p canvas, they're masks that you can use for anything. So let's just clean up here. In fact, I can do this, can't I? I can do transform copy again, because again, this doesn't get preserved. Transform paste. Lock that one out. Delete that one. Mark, copy the transform. And paste the transform. There's Mark. We can delete that one because we don't need it. And then copy my transform. Come on, brain. And paste. There we go. So that's that. So then we go back to the screen view. We'll get rid of our landscape versions. They're going to be redundant in this view. And then now what we can do is we can take a look at this thing and see how much bigger we can make it. Quite a bit bigger. And I should now be able to... There we go. There we go. So we got a bit more space out of that. And I can change this. Instead of screen, we'll call this a different name. We'll go and rename this and give it a name. So there we go. That's the four of us now as in squares. We'll copy that transform because we'll apply it to what you can't see here, which is the second camera of Alan's. We'll paste that transform paste. So that's done. We'll lock out these so they can't be messed with. And then we'll just go and rename a couple of things, because if we wanted to switch, if I just go to Alan's second camera, for example. Where is it? Here. If I just put a background in. Let's just put a crazy gradient in. Background. That'll do. Put that there. Right, so we've just got a simple background for Alan's second camera. And I want to give that a different name. Don't want to call it Alan camera. We'll call it second cam. And if I now go to this view, we can get a feel for what that looks like. And that also doesn't have the thing. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we've got that one and we've got this one, but you can see they're gonna replace each other, so that's working just fine. So we're all static, and then if we're on this view and we go here, we'll pop into position. There we go. Well, I think that is the basics of what I was going to make for now. I'm really thirsty and I've run out of tea, So what I'm thinking is I'll probably stop there for a little bit. I'll break to have a drink. I need to go and get some other assets together for something else that's going to be embedded in here, but not in the OBS configuration. But I think that is that's basically what I wanted to get into today. And I may stream again in a couple of hours or an hour from now and do some more work on this and sort of, you know, bring it together. But I've got some other bits I need to prepare that are outside of OBS, so I'm going to go away and do that. So thank you very much for those of you that have stopped by. It's been great chatting to you, and FX Boy for your brilliant idea with the NDI stuff. I know our podcast is probably going to be overjoyed at that little discovery that we've made today, and hopefully you've seen some of those like little tricks and things about, you know, how to manipulate camera tessellations and things like that. So I'm going to take a short break. Yeah, it's only 5.5 hours until we do it for real over on youtube.com/Ubuntu Podcast. But I know I'm not finished, and I'll be back because, for example, I haven't done the piece where these two chain into one another, which I want to do. So I want those two to automatically progress from one to the other, and I'll be using some plugins for that. And maybe we might want to have a version of this. Oh god, flipping virtual screens. A version of this with maybe some effects overlaid on our cameras here, and I don't know if I've got time to get into that, but there's an idea, and I might have a stab at that. But if push comes to shove, I think we have basically the essentials of what we need to do this. But it would be nice if we can fancy it up a little bit. So yeah, I'll take a short break, and if any of you are still around, or yeah, whatever. Yeah, I have, Luke. I've taken the day off. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be back in a bit. Hopefully I'll speak to some of you then. In the meantime, have a good lunch or cup of tea or whatever it is you're going to do, and maybe I'll see you in a little bit. And I need to go and push this button here. Bye everyone, thanks for coming.